Hey Grand Adventurers, welcome back and welcome to New Brunswick, Canada. I'm your host Mark Guido, and we're going to spend this week camping in and exploring the Acadian Islands and Peninsula. So come along. This is our first stop ever in New Brunswick, once part of what was known as Acadia and known today as Canada's Maritime Provinces. We're based this week on Miscou Island, connected to neighboring Lamec Island and mainland New Brunswick by this bridge that first opened in 1996, replacing a cable ferry. This region of New Brunswick is home to a fascinating history to explain the unique culture found here. Acadia, the first colony of New France, was founded in 1604 and once stretched as far south along the Atlantic coast as the Kennebec River in present-day Maine. For 150 years following its founding, Acadia changed hands multiple times due to numerous conflicts between France and the United Kingdom. Acadia would definitively fall into British hands in 1713, but the British were unsatisfied with the Acadian surrender because they refused to pledge allegiance to the British Crown and deny the Catholic faith. So they turned to capturing and exporting Acadians en masse. From 1755 to 1764, some 12,000 Acadians were forcefully deported to various locations around the world, although 8,000 died before arrival. Another 6,000 escaped by fleeing to the region we're visiting this week, or further into Canada. Families were separated, their lands and property confiscated, and in some cases their homes were burned. Between 1763 and 1785, many deported Acadians relocated to join their compatriots in Louisiana. Their descendants became what are now called Louisiana Cajuns, a linguistic corruption of the name Acadian. As New Brunswick filled with immigrants from Ireland and Scotland, and British loyalists who had fled the American Revolution, Acadians became a minority locally. They lived largely on the fringes of society, fearful of the English, and were mostly illiterate due to laws preventing them from opening schools. In 1969, New Brunswick passed the Official Languages Act, which began recognizing French as an official language, along with English. About 2/3 of today's provincial population are English-speaking, and 1/3 is French-speaking. 7 regional accents developed in the French spoken here, most closely associated in North America with that spoken by Louisiana Cajuns, because both were born out of the same population. Even many Francophones from nearby Quebec have some difficulty understanding Acadian French due to the strong dialects. It didn't take long to notice that Acadian flags fly everywhere here. It's a modification of the French tricolor, with the addition of a golden star in the blue field to symbolize St. Mary, Our Lady of the Assumption, patron saint of the Acadians and widely known as the Star of the Sea. I've only spotted a handful of New Brunswick provincial flags here, but the Acadian flag is on everything. And I mean everything. Miscou Island's entire population numbers only around 500 residents, about 80% of whom are French speakers. Tourism infrastructure here is very, very limited. There's only one tiny restaurant on the entire island. The connection of the people here to the sea is undeniable. Fishing remains an important industry, particularly for lobster, as well as salmon, crab, scallops, and herring, taking place both in Chaleur Bay that separates the region from Quebec's Gaspé Peninsula, and in the open waters of the Gulf of St. Lawrence on the south and east sides of the Acadian Islands and Peninsula. Miscou Island was first a fishing base for Basque fishermen in the 1500s. The first permanent settler was John Campbell, who emigrated from Scotland around 1817. Campbell was followed by fishermen from the Channel Islands of Jersey and Guernsey, who processed codfish at the northern tip of the island to ship back to Europe, and Acadians, who settled on more arable lands in the island's interior. This is Wilson's Point on the island's eastern side, named for early settler Andrew Wilson, who married one of Campbell's daughters. The 80-foot-tall Miscou Island lighthouse at the island's northeastern tip, at the entrance to Chaleur Bay, was built in 1856. In the summer, it is open for guided tours, and a cafe and gift shop are located on site. The lighthouse was designated a National Historic Site of Canada in 1974 and remains an active navigational aid, emitting a single green flash every 5 seconds. Miscou Island's sand dunes and lagoons host a variety of migratory birds. Many of the island's 270 species may be seen from here at the Lake Fry Observatory. That's Mont Saint Anne above Percé, the site of our previous episode 366 of Grand Adventure, visible in the distance at the tip of Quebec's Gaspé Peninsula. It may not be far away as the seagull flies, but it took us 6 hours to drive from there to Miscou Island due to the need to round all of Chaleur Bay on our trip. Much of Miscou Island is covered by these massive peat bogs that stretch for miles. And unlike the bogs on Lamec Island and the adjacent peninsula, the peat on Miscou Island remains unharvested. These bogs have a unique beauty that's undeniable. Visitors can learn more about the island's peat bogs by following the extensive boardwalk system at the Peatland Path near the island's northern end. Jesuits founded the St. Charles Mission on this site in 1634, the first Catholic church in Canada. St. Mark's United Church, standing here today, was built at the site in 1886. This region is popular with beachgoers. Chaleur Bay's waters are influenced by the warm ocean currents emitting from the larger Gulf of St. Lawrence, resulting in some of the warmest saltwater found on the Atlantic coast north of Virginia. We're going to go make camp. And when we come right back, following a quick ad break, we'll share our Miscou Island campsite at Camping Levague. We'll also explore adjacent Lamec Island and some of the adjacent mainland peninsula area as well, so stay tuned. There are 3 campgrounds on Miscou Island. We're staying at Camping Levague on the island's southwestern side. Our nearly waterfront, full hookup site with a view of Chaleur Bay is costing us $294 US for the week, or $42 per night. The campground features restrooms with showers and a laundry facility. With all of the peat bogs and marshes on Miscou Island, and with all the rain received here recently, the mosquitoes here have been savage. Our site at Camping Levague may be full hookup, or 3 services as they call it in Canada, but our electrical connection is only 15 amps. This is where our Victron MultiPlus 2 truly shines. Viewers may recall that we upgraded to this MultiPlus 2 as our inverter charger in January. It handles both legs of our 50 amp power, such that both legs of our shore power pass through the MultiPlus 2 en route to our electrical service panel. Thus, while boondocking, every electrical component in our RV can be operated by inverting our battery power. The MultiPlus 2 also handles charging our batteries from shore power. The MultiPlus 2 has a unique feature called Power Assist, perfect for a situation like our current 15 amp shore power connection. When we arrived on Miscou Island, it was cold and rainy. I could have fired up the furnace to take away the chill, but that would use propane. I could start our electric fireplace, but that would result in a current draw exceeding our 15 amp shore power. After using the Multiplus 2 settings to limit our shore power draw to 15 amps, I turned on the fireplace. The Multiplus 2 then assists the shore power by inverting our battery power to make up for the shore power deficit. Then, when the room reaches temperature and the thermostat turns off the fireplace, the Multiplus 2 then concentrates most of our 15 amp shore power on quickly recharging the batteries back to 100%. The cycle repeats throughout each of the chilly nights that we're experiencing here. The Victron Multiplus 2 is available through the Grand Adventure shop on Amazon, which helps to support our channel by providing a small commission on each sale. We limit its inventory to RV and outdoor products that we use ourselves and love. You can check it out at amazon.com/shop/grandadventure, or just use the clickable link down below in the video description. Lamec Island serves as an intermediary to link Miscou Island to the Acadian Peninsula on the New Brunswick mainland. There's slightly more on Lamec Island than there is on Miscou Island, including the small town of Lamec with several eateries and a small grocery co-op. The chill of winter on these islands must be pure hell. A square wooden tower, 20 feet tall and topped by a wooden lantern, was first constructed in 1872 to guide fishermen through the treacherous Big Shippigan Gully. This newer 51-foot lighthouse was built at Shippigan Gully in 1905. It's one of 9 octagonal wooden towers still remaining in New Brunswick. Shippagan, just across the causeway and drawbridge from Lamec Island, was founded by residents of Passepébiac and Bonaventure, Quebec, due to the expansion of the Charles Robin Company, a fishing enterprise from our last grand adventure in Percé. The town's first permanent settler to petition the government for title to his land here was the son of an expelled Acadian. With a population of nearly 2,700, the town has more services available for RV travelers than the two Acadian islands combined, including supermarkets, auto parts, restaurants, and even a Canadian tire store. And if you've never been to Canada, realize that there's a whole lot more available at Canadian Tire than just tires, including hardware and RV supplies. The location of the town is an ideal spot for fishing, which was its first economic product, as well as exporting timber from further inland. There are also numerous peat bogs in the area, and their exploitation continues to this day. Approximately 99% of the town's residents are Francophone. Further into the peninsula, but still on the shoreline of Chaleur Bay, Caraquette's name is derived from the native term for meeting of two rivers, in this case the Caraquette River and Rivière du Nord. The town was first settled by a French fur trader, and after the expulsion of the Acadians from southern New Brunswick and Nova Scotia in 1755, some settled here. Charles Robin and Company opened an important fishery here in 1837, followed by that of Robert Young in 1850. Some of the town's residents consider it to be the capital of Acadia, and here the RV traveler will find an ever-increasing selection of products and services to assist in their journey. We found an exceptional local fish market right in the port of Caraquette called La Poissonnerie du Creek. They even have their own restaurant and ice cream bar in the same building for one-stop shopping. I picked up a live lobster for tomorrow night, along with smoked salmon jerky, a scallop casserole, a stuffed cod, and a bunch of other stuff for the RV fridge. I'll be all set on seafood for a while. But it's a bit too late in the day to count on cooking my own dinner, so I'm instead dining in their restaurant Decay, especially when they've got my second favorite food on the menu that you can't get outside of New England and Atlantic, Canada, and that's whole belly fried clams. I am truly in heaven. We hope that you've enjoyed visiting the Acadian Peninsula and Islands with us. If you like this episode, it is extremely important to us that you give us a big thumbs up down below. And while you're down below, that's where you'll find the comment section where we always love to hear from you after each grand adventure, which we premiere every Wednesday evening. Coming up next week, we'll bring you to Kushabiwak National Park. So I can't think of a better time than right now for you to go smash that little subscribe button right down there in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. And ring that notification bell to be sure that you never miss a grand adventure, which we premiere every Wednesday evening. We'd also be honored if you shared the channel with your friends, family, and on social media. So until next Wednesday, from Kushabiwak National Park, please remember life is nothing but a grand adventure. We'll see you then.